Next message is from a 28-year-old. Says, my parents died when I was 14. I dropped out of school because no one could afford to pay my fees. I hawked for some time till I met this young man one day, and after interacting with me for a while, he told me he would help me get back into school because he believed I had a bright future. I was excited to hear this, but at the same time, I was a bit skeptical because he was a total stranger. He had to do all sorts of menial jobs to cater for my secondary education. When I was done with secondary school, he proposed to me and I accepted because he's truly a nice person. He later got employed as a driver with a bank. He saved up some money to see me through uni, and now I'm a pharmacist. My problem is, I feel I can't continue with this relationship because I am no longer attracted to him. How best can I break things off without hurting him? I'm grateful he saw me through school and all, but I can't be in a relationship with him out of gratitude or pity. That's the last thing I'd ever do to someone. Love plays an instrumental role in marriage. Please help. Yeah. It's always tricky. Ceci. Yeah, let me come to you with this one.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
The guy will be so gutted.
Yes.
But how do you feel about the lady's stance, though?
I can't help but agree with her. But you don't just wake up one day and you are unattracted. It must have started from somewhere. So why didn't you withdraw when you realized that you were no longer attracted to him? Because I'm not sure that this non-attraction started once you finished school and then you became a pharmacist. It started from somewhere. I have a feeling that there's this social gap that she's grappling with, because it's like right now he's a driver and she's a pharmacist. There's a bit of a gap. I'm sure that if he's introduced to her friends, maybe they can't really hold that sort of intellectual conversation. Or maybe she feels like he doesn't fit in. I really don't know what is causing her not to feel attracted, because at some point she was attracted. But I also feel that
I actually didn't get the sense that she was at all.
Sorry?
I didn't get the sense that she was at all at any point.
That is. I'm coming to that. I'm sure that she felt like it was something she could do as a gratitude,
right,
for what he has done for her. Because it's like, okay, you have seen me through school, you have paid for my fees and everything. So yeah, if you ask me out, I'll say yes, because it's the least I can do. And she should know that definitely if he's doing all this, he's not doing it just for doing sake.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's grooming her for marriage.
He's fattening the chicken for Christmas.
The cow for
exactly. Yeah. For her stance, the thing is, even if I tell her that, this is not fair, go ahead and marry the guy, it is still not fair to the guy, because if she's not attracted to him, he'll be unhappy in their marriage or wherever they want to take this relationship. So like I said from the beginning, it's very unfortunate, because this was supposed to metamorphose into something really beautiful, something that you look back and say that, okay, this guy took me out of, for want of a better expression or a word, from the gutter, and groomed me into the woman that I am today. It's a beautiful story.
Right.
This guy hawked on the streets.
Abrego.
Sad. It's sad. But by all means, you cannot break it off without hurting him. He'll be gutted. He'll be shattered. But it's better you do it now than later.
Claudia, let me come to you. What would you do in this situation?
It's sad but very funny as well, because this thing happens all the time. Men do it to women all the time. Like it's nothing new, and so I'm in two minds. there's one side which is telling me, be selfish with your happiness, move on. If he was a man, he wouldn't have thought twice. I was privy to a lady who took the boyfriend through medical school. He finished and said, "You're not my class."
Okay.
So it happened. So my black side of my brain is saying, be selfish with your happiness, break it down to him. This is how you feel. But then my white side of the brain is telling me this is a very calculated relationship entrepreneuring. Like, she took her time, took advantage of this guy, took his money, because nowhere in the text did she say, I like this guy. So she was poor, she saw money, and then I keep saying, sometimes when we take money out of a relationship, most relationships will collapse because people mistake financial stability for affection. And in her case, that is clearly what happened. She saw an opportunity to climb the ladder. So at which point did she realize that this guy is not his class? Because I'm sure he used to visit you in university. Your whole year, pharmacy, I think, is 5 years. You would never realize he was your class till now that you have the earning power. Now that you can afford to do what you want, suddenly you are not in love. Why is she pretending like she's a good person? She's not a good person, and she needs to be called out on this because she took advantage of an innocent man. But it's now spilt milk. There's nothing we can do about it. She's already exploited him. It's a case study that we can record to advise our sons and brothers, but she has to move on. She doesn't love him, and continuing with him wouldn't solve any problem because you can't, like she said, you can't marry a guy out of pity. And now she's asking us how to break it down to him. I mean, it's simple. You've thought about this for weeks, contemplated it, and I'm sure she even fell out of love when she got to the university and she saw, oh, okay, I have choices. And still took his money. So now you have to be honest and face the consequences that comes. This guy won't go without a fight. He won't go without a fight. So mentally, she should be ready. There can be some form of stalking. If he's a violent person, there can be domestic violence. So she should cover all corners. Break the news to him in a safe environment where you can escape. He knows your house. You've taken a man's money for 14 years.
It's a long time.
14 solid years. And suddenly you have a conscience and you have a heart. Break it down to him and be ready for whatever comes. Guard yourself, get security. If it means bringing, and her family members too, I'm sure they are all willing participants. Get your mom involved to break the news, because they all enjoyed. I'm sure when he was coming to the house, they all saw what is her parents saying about this sudden selfish decision of hers. So she get others involved to help her break down the news to him. But like I said, be selfish with your happiness and be sensitive whilst breaking the news to him, because he suffered. And he's entitled to his anger. It's a valid emotion at this point. But marrying him wouldn't solve any problem. It's just going to escalate, and after 4 or 5 years there will be a divorce, there might be kids, it will be messy. So if you decided to move on, great, but break it in a very sensitive manner and let him know that you still appreciate his support. How can you make it up to him? Because now you can't be in a relationship anymore, you want to move on, and in all honesty, you don't feel like you used to. It's not like he's a bad person. It's like the popular one they say, it's
not you, it's me. Right. It is so
it's
you.
not you, it's me. So now that's the only, break it to him in a sensitive way, because living with him won't solve any problem. It's just postponing an inevitable decision to a later date, wasting money for weddings. Kids might be involved, they'll be messy. But she's a very calculated bad person, if I should put it that way. She knew what she was doing, so she doesn't have my empathy anyway. But at this point, she has to put herself first.
Right. I mean, to be fair, she didn't actually ask for his help in the beginning, right? Why not? Someone wants to help you. What should you do? And at that point in time, you're in dire straits. You get it? You're 14. Conscience? It's about survival.
that's where the conscience comes in. Okay, that's where because I have had situations where people offer you help, and I'll tell you, is it help with
strings attached?
Strings attached, you know, and they don't call you again because they
know their strings.
So that's why I'm saying she's a bad person, because a conscience should have come in at some point, and she kicked against that better conscience and just took advantage of this young man. And now you've suddenly found love and affection, and it's just that he's not her class anymore.
Okay.
Basically, that's it. She's met pharmacists, they're speaking big English, going to post conferences, and you know.
Let me ask you a question. Say her conscience kicked in, what, 8 years in, would it have made a difference?
8 years in wouldn't have made.
Yeah, like
the earlier the better. And the guy could have saved 6 years of money. It's so convenient. Her decision is so convenient that it's not even funny.
Okay.
But like I'm saying, men do it all the time. So for one side of my brain, I'll say, oh, go on. I mean, they are bad people and they are good people. But another side of my brain is saying she's very diabolic, very calculated.
Okay.
And she might probably do it again. She'll marry one rich man, find another rich man, and she'll keep hopping. Pim, 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 pim.
Okay, let's bring it to Ghana, shall we? Rosie.
This was getting emotional to like that. Oh, God. Now, this is a very sad story. Yeah. And it happens all the time, both ways, really. My thing is that at 14, you're young. It's a survival thing. And the beauty about this is that the guy did not propose to her at 14. The guy took care of her till after secondary school before he decided to propose to her. So which meant that she had time to evaluate. And maybe the guy was probably not even taking care of her primarily because he wanted to have a relationship or be her husband or anything. He probably just liked her and decided to help her. There are so many people I've helped along my way. Just yourself, you understand?
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean you want to have any form of intimacy with them. There are people who've helped me along the way and have not touched me, have not even requested to touch me. So there are people who can actually help you without necessarily wanting anything from you. Now, after secondary school, when he proposed to you, you had every opportunity to say, in fact, break down and say, so is that why you have been helping me? Is that why you have been paying my school fees? Because you want to And maybe he would withdraw his offer, and because he wants to sound genuine, it won't be a relationship. He might continue to help you. Now, if he doesn't continue to help you, now that you have finished secondary school, at least you're equipped, you finished school, you're equipped somewhat. By now, there's your secondary school mates, you'd have made friends, parents, and you'd have made very good friends in secondary school, such that if you're really a bright student, you're able to do pharmacy. I'm assuming you're a very bright student. It means that you probably get somebody or even a group of friends who'll be willing to put. Because in Ghana, if you're Ghanaian, university education is not that expensive. Plus the SNITs, what's it called, the loans and those things are available. So there's a way around it. There are people on campus who survived from practically nothing. So you could have done same. You understand? But on the contrary, you decided to keep milking this man. Look, how much does a standard driver earn in Ghana?
No, Charlie.
Let's be frank. I'm here to see a driver who would earn, let's say, about 500 cedis or 600 cedis. Unless, of course, maybe he's an executive driver. But a standard normal driver, how much do they earn in a month? Which means that his whole life has been working hard to make sure that you are someone. And you see, it takes a man with a strong mentality to push his woman to be higher than him and still not be worried, insecure, perturbed, or anything.
He's a good man.
He's a good man. He's a good man. You see, because you see, there are people who would wish that their men would even encourage them. I'm not talking about putting money in them. Just say, oh, baby, I know you can do it. Go get it. Yeah, you can do it. You can get there. They are not getting it. The woman wants to do something. The man says, no, you can't do it. You will never do it. I'll never allow you to do it. No, you can't go. You want to wear jeans for the way. You can't. You have to cover your whole body. You have to look. There are men who are sitting on their, and this is some of the reason why. Because some of the men feel like if the woman goes higher than you pay, all of a sudden you're not enough for them. Then all your hard work is exactly, you grow wings. So these are some of the stories that we hear. That makes it, that kind of like justifies why some men want to sit on the happiness of some women. And it's very sad. Very sad. Now, that being said, you see, if you don't love somebody, nobody can force you to be with the person. You need to get out. However, if you knew from day one that you did not like the person, but you were with the person for personal gains only, and after you think that you have finished the process, you want to dump the person, don't be surprised when karma hits you. This is a situation where you...
She did say, though, that she's no longer attracted to him. So I'm guessing at some point maybe this was genuine.
No. You see,
No?
like Claudia said, see, money, you get some magnet, See, look, you see a very... Look, you see... Charlie, you see some... forgive me. Some ugly-looking man. But because of his money,
It looks like
the ugliness is a new trend. The ugliness becomes a new trend. His crooked lips is the ish.
Big nose.
When Stallone was talking with the crooked lips, do you think that it was the crooked lips that was the money behind the crooked lips? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm just saying that, look, there are a lot of things that happen in life. So sometimes the opportunity, the money. So maybe she fell in love with the support. She fell in love with the care, the attention, the encouragement, the push, everything like that. She fell in love with all of that. And that's what made him attractive. Now you've gotten to the level that, if anything at all, you now have to encourage your man to get higher.
Yeah. That's
But
an option.
instead of doing that, you are now saying you're falling out of, like you're no more attracted to him.
Exactly.
That's because now, at some point, he was the one who had a dough. Even though his dough was small, at that point, that dough was correct dough.
Yes.
Now today, you feel like you have done a professional course. You have plenty dough, so Charlie, some way. What happened to, even as a pharmacist, your certificate alone can earn you money. What happened to open your own private, pharmaceutical something and having a joint venture with your husband and having him run it together whilst you are using your expertise, let's say in somebody else's hospital, for instance? Why can't you do something like that? Then both of you will grow together as a pair. See, it's very difficult to find a man who not only loves you, who not only wants to have sex with you and make babies with you, but actually wants to see you progress. And your progression is his happiness.
It's priceless.
It's priceless. You find this and you're throwing it, I'm no more attracted. No, I won't force you. Like Claudia said, move. We can't force you to stay there. But you go and meet somebody who is also a pharmacist, a doctor, PhD-rian. Is there something like a PhD-rian? Like somebody, PhD class. So I don't know which field, but whichever field it is. Or Professor Emeritus. If there's anything about Emeritus, anything, you know what I mean? And then you realize that, yes, you get married, you have a flashy wedding, everything, but you spend every day in pain. You spend every day in tears because this man cannot see beyond you. This man does not even value you. Your pharmacy that you think you have achieved, no.
He's achieved more than
It's
that.
nothing. Look, for who cry, he doesn't book you. And then you'll be there suffering. Do you know where I've come from? And I came from here and I struggled and I'm a pharmacist. And how much do you bring home?
Thank you.
Your pharmacy will bring you like $3,000 a month. This guy is earning like $20,000, $50,000 a month. Come on, pharmacy $3,000, $3,500. What is your problem? Do you understand? So all I'm saying is that, look, when it comes to relationships, I have a problem with people who waste people's time in relationships. Be very real. Be very frank. Once you start and you realize that this is not for me, let the person know it's not for me. And let the person make an informed decision. There are people who will say that, okay, even though I know you don't like me, I'll still be there for you. Maybe one day, you fall in love with me. That is his gamble. You have said your piece. But don't pretend you are in with him. Then when it's good for you, then you head out. But by all means, don't pretend to stay in it because you will not love him and he doesn't deserve somebody who doesn't love him.
True.
He doesn't deserve somebody who will be with him and be reminding him that he's nobody because he's just a driver. But this kind of situation, people should stop taking advantage of people both ways. People should stop it.
All right, Ceci. Are you on the fence?
No, I'm not. Because she wasn't fair to him. She wasn't fair to him. Because the thing is, she was 14, no problem. 14, dear, we all know that she's young, but at some point, you should have realized that you are not into you. So you should have just come clean and told him that, yeah, I really appreciate everything you have done for me so far, but I don't feel the same way. Just be frank. But you realized that he was supporting you and then you took advantage of it. So the thing is, we are not saying that you are wrong in not being attracted to him anymore or wrong in wanting to leave him, but know that what you have done is not right. Just know that it's not right. I mean, we are not going to.
But let me ask you a question. In future, just in case, in future, if let's say she goes ahead and gets married to somebody else, and let's say she's not having a happy marriage, and someone else happens to see this broken gentleman and nurtures him and also makes him into some big businessman, because probably he has some hidden talents that nobody even knows, and gets him into a big man, he's not earning big money. My question is that the day that you see him, and it's happened several times, so the day that you see him now, my question is that would you feel like, oh, this would have been me beside him? Would you suddenly realize that you actually loved him, being Tina, or you think it's the devil who pushed you to not, like, what is it? Like Claudia said, money plays a very big role when it comes to relationships. Very few people are disciplined enough to love for the genuine purpose of love, to have it in that pure form. Very few people, and it's unfortunate.
Okay.
And also one thing we are missing is that we are only considering the values from the lady's point of view. This guy deserves better, in my opinion.
Of course.
Okay.
He really deserves better.
So
it's not loss at all. In the long run, it's not loss at all.
For some strange reason, I don't seem to see things the way you ladies see it.
So you think like I don't get her and go?
No, I don't feel like she used him. To be honest, like when I read the story, I don't get that same sense. I just feel like there's someone who maybe along the line she genuinely cared for the guy. It could be out of gratitude and not necessarily being that deep. She did say she's no longer attracted to him. I want to take what she said like seriously, that okay, that could possibly mean that at some point there was some level of attraction. But the truth is, people fall out of love all the time.
The timing.
No, there shouldn't be timing. Like whether I fall out of love at 26 or 28 shouldn't matter.
That was
No, I feel we're being unfair.
convenient. That was
No, what makes it convenient?
So just
there's no timeline.
That okay, now that I'm 28 and I'm a pharmacy student, I don't love this guy
have
anymore.
money.
It's over, like kind of thing. No,
Okay. So let me tell you something. Sometimes when the stories come in, I want to analyze it from how the person expressed their problem, the information they gave.
Right.
Yeah.
The information they gave tells
to go
us
by.
what they put value on, or
Okay.
let's say what informed some of the decisions they've taken.
Right.
When you're talking to somebody about something, you can't possibly say all the details.
Right.
But you talk about the things that kind of like give whatever point you want to make value.
Yeah.
So you spoke about your parents that nobody to take care of you. One, that means that you were poor, desperate. Okay, fine. Somebody has come, he was just a hawker, took care of you, pushed down, became a driver, looked after you. Okay, now you are now a pharmacist. And now after being a pharmacist, you are no longer attracted to him.
It's over.
So which means that, you see, I'm looking at the premise of the story, where it's coming from. If the story says, oh, I've been dating this guy for some time, yes, he's been very helpful, he's taking good care of me, but along the line I fell out of love with him, that's a different thing.
But you had to put it in
But
context.
yes, just put it in context. And that context is because, listen, underlying all that I'm no more attracted to him is a feeling of I am way better than you.
No, I think it's a feeling of guilt.
And that is why
I think she actually feels bad about
You know why
the fact that she's no longer in love with him. Reason she's written to us.
well, maybe she wants to convince herself, she wants us to validate whatever action she wants to do.
Perhaps.
But you see, people, that's why some men decide to marry the woman after secondary school before they start taking care of them.
What I'm curious about is, in all this time, were they intimate? Was she cooking? Was she cleaning? Was she playing the wifey role?
So it means that then she should have earned the money that was being.
I'm just saying.
Well, she didn't mention it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like Rosina said, the things that the way she tells the story will tell you what she's putting.
No, I think she was just putting things in context.
Okay, now
Jessica.
her question. She was.
Yeah, she says, what's her question, Grab? Basically, she just needs help. Yeah, she needs the best way she can break things off without hurting the guy.
Okay, now let me now answer her question.
Answer it for us.
Now, to start with, you've been very mean.
Yeah.
You've been very unfair. Now, I keep saying that, look, anytime you do something to somebody, always flip the coin and ask yourself, if this was me, how would I feel?
Right.
And then it should inform how you do your things. That being said, it's always better late than never. Better 14 years than 40 years. So you want to break it. Let me tell you something. A relationship of that nature cannot be broken without pain.
Yeah.
It cannot. That's the only information I have. It cannot be broken without pain. Number two, it has to be severed, clean, hard, sharp.
You have to use abochi knife.
Yes. You see, this long-standing relationship saying two things. The people know you, you know them. No matter how much you feel you're no more attracted, you've been connected emotionally for some time over a period. So when these people know you know them, don't toy with their emotions. Tell him, sharp, Charlie, you know what? I'm so sorry, but I'd rather do it now than later. I seem like a bad person, but I'm thinking, would I want to still be in a relationship with you and be lying to you? He will cry, he will curse you, he will do whatever he wants to do, and me, I never everything. Turn your back and go. Your pain is to deal with the pain that you have caused somebody else pain. Allow both of you to deal with your pain separately. Don't wake up after 1.5 weeks and call him and say, how are you?
Messages.
Are you okay? Are you doing well? Or even if he decides to message you, don't respond. You see, sometimes people don't understand the need to have that clean break. When you have that clean break, sometimes it feels like you are being mean to the person. But what happens is that after some time, when the person deals with it, and the person regains their confidence, their self-worth and everything, and they move on, they are actually grateful to you for leaving when you did. Because most of the time, they might meet somebody who is better than you, and they'll be actually grateful. So there is no way of doing it without pain. That's the story.
Cool.
It's a very painful procedure.
It is.
It will be.
It is. It's not going to be easy.